Hi everyone, welcome to another Tentaku video. Today's topic is Top 10 Main Characters. In this ranking I'm nominating some of my favorite characters in anime based solely on my opinion. Of course there are a lot of other characters I love, but these deserve the prize. As always, couple of rules for this video: I'm only considering characters from anime I watched and only one entry per franchise. Watch out, there might be some minor spoilers if you haven't watched these shows. Number 10. Brandon Heat, Gungrave. If you've never seen Gungrave, then go check it out. It's a fantastic anime, and what I loved most about it was the main character Brandon Heat. Brandon starts off as a street kid who ends up joining the mafia and raising the ranks until he becomes a top assassin. Despite his profession, he is calm, kind and loyal man who would do anything to keep his loved ones safe. He even sacrificed his own love life because he knew the other man would be better protecting his lover than himself. And the incredible thing about him is that even beyond the grave he sticks to his values and protects those he loves. Number 9. Gon Freaks, Hunter x Hunter 2011. Gon is your typical happy-go-lucky boy that everyone loves. Raised close to nature, he is very athletic and has uniquely sharp senses. Despite that, he is too innocent at times and his impulsiveness not always helps him. Abandoned by his father at a young age, Gon dedicates himself to find him no matter what. Knowing his father was a hunter, he enrolls in the hunter exam in hopes of finding him, and so begins his tale. Gon is a lovable character, and I specifically love when that innocent little kid gets serious and surprises us all with ingenious battle plans and new techniques. He somewhat reminds me of Goku. Number 8. Spike Seagull, Cowboy Bebop. Spike is one of the coolest and easygoing characters in anime. He's a bounty hunter on a spaceship that travels with his crew looking for the next bounty to collect. He's an expert martial artist and gunner, and what I love most about him is his ability to show his laid-back personality through his fighting. For him, it's like child's play and having a good time. Some of his personality traits derive from his past experiences. His near death left him feeling like he was living a dream from thereafter, and because of that he tends to find himself in dangerous situations with little care for what happens to him. And I must say, his last farewell is one of the coolest scenes in anime ever. Number 7. Vash the Stampede Trigun. If there is one thing I love, is a character that is the ultimate badass, but that pretends being just a dumb fool in order to live an innocent life. In this show, Vash the Stampede is the most feared outlaw in the planet, blamed for the destruction of several cities. Yet his silly behavior hides his true identity and extraordinary skill, being able to avoid capture by his opponents. Despite his fearsome reputation, Vash is actually a kind-hearted man who always makes sure everyone survives, and that even his enemies aren't killed. This was one of the first shows I've ever seen, and this character was one of the reasons I fell in love with anime. If you haven't seen this show, don't miss your chance. Despite the old graphics, the story is worthwhile. Number 6. Kirito, Sword Art Online. Let's admit it, if you are a gamer, then you can see yourself in Kirito's character. Stuck inside a virtual game, Kirito is a lone wolf who dedicates himself to getting stronger and stronger until he can beat the game and escape to real life again. Despite appearances, he gets stronger not only for himself, but also in order to protect those he cares about in-game. Due to his skill difference, Kirito tends to always look very calm in situations that seem stressful to other players, and ends up making him look somewhat arrogant. The coolest thing in this character is that you see his evolution throughout the show. Every time you see him, he is at a totally different skill level and amazes you how strong he can become. Number 5. Goku, Dragon Ball. I believe this character dismisses any introductions, but what the hell, here it is. Goku is an alien from the race Saiyan, who was sent to Earth as a kid to conquer the planet. Fortunately, he fell and suffered a head trauma, causing him to become a kind-hearted boy. Thanks to his superior race blood and his mentor's teaching in martial arts, Goku quickly becomes one of the strongest men in the world and later on of the universe. He defined the stereotype of many heroes you can find nowadays in anime. The dumb and innocent kid who becomes the ultimate fighter when trouble arises and that has an amazing ability of converting his enemies into friends. Other characters you might know and are inspired by this personality are Naruto or Monkey D. Luffy. And remember, Goku was the one who teaches all how important was the value of hard work, friendship and sacrifice. Number 4. Kintaro Oe, Golden Boy. I bet you didn't expect this one, did you? You probably never heard of it, but it was one of the first characters I saw in anime and it really inspired my life. Except for the pervert part. Kintaro Oe is a kid that decides to live its perfectly planned life in order to roam around Japan and experience the teachings life has to give him. He goes from town to town accepting many different jobs in order to gain new skills and learn a little more about everything. Just like Vash, he is actually a genius that surpasses everyone around him, but he keeps that fact for himself and ends up looking like a perverted loser that makes a fool of himself at every chance he gets. It's only at the end of each episode after he skips town that everyone realizes his true skill and immediately regret letting him live. Maybe the fact that he's the most realistic character in this list is what makes him so inspiring. Number 3. Edward Elric, Full Metal Alchemist. Another great character from another great show. Unlike most characters in this list, Edward is actually a cocky brat that uses his personality to disguise how broken he actually is. After attempting to use alchemy to bring his mother back to life, he ends up losing some parts of his body, while his brother loses his body at all, and gets his soul stuck in the lifeless suit armor. From then on, Edward dedicates himself on becoming a state alchemist and finding the Philosopher's Stone in hope of restoring their lost bodies back to normal. He ends up being very focused on his goals and stubborn, acting somewhat selfish and self-absorbed, but what he loves the most is to take down those who mistakenly believe they are gods. He is usually recognized by his red coat and mechanic arm and leg, which earned him the title of Full Metal Alchemist. Number 2. Lelouch, Code Geass. Lelouch is one of the characters that from the beginning to end you're not sure whether to support him or be against him. In the series, Lelouch is a former prince who is given the power of Geass, an ability that allows him to control anyone at his will. Equipped with this newfound power and genius-level intellect, he becomes the leader of the resistance movement under the alter ego Zero, and aims at freeing the country from the Britannia Dominion. Sometimes you see his kind heart and selfless goals, and other times you see his ruthless methods and ambitions, for which he is willing to sacrifice people he knows. This is indeed one of the most complex characters in anime, and maybe that's what makes him such a popular character. The show's ending and Lelouch's final plan is truly worth watching. Number 1. Light Yagami, Death Note. And here it is, my favorite character from one of my favorite shows. Light Yagami is just an ordinary student that happens to discover a Death Note that somehow kills all those whose name is written in it. Using his genius and natural talent, he draws a plan to rid the world of criminals and bring world peace, but in doing so he himself becomes a public enemy known as Kira. It's ingenious how the character is developed and how it evolves throughout the show. From a high school student who just wants to bring justice to the world, to an adult who gets consumed by power and a god complex. In many ways, people usually can relate to Light Yagami at some point of their life, either the good part or the bad part, and that is what makes him so fascinating. This is it, my top 10 favorite protagonists. What about your top 10? Tell us all about it in the comments. If you would like to see more videos like this, just click subscribe. Thanks for watching!